first time I heard William Walton's 5 Bagatelles for guitar was when I was 16 years old. I was a teenager and I was studying in the National Conservatory of Music in Mexico City. I was a student of Marco Antonio Anguiano. He was a great performer of contemporary music, both Mexican and universal. And so in those days there was this new concert hall, Blas Galindo, in the National Arts Center in Mexico City. And so they invited the teachers of the conservatory to play concerts in there. And it was like an opening season for the hall. So my teacher went and played that great concert. I have the program in here. Let me tell you the works he played. He played Madroños by Federico Moreno Torroba, Nocturnal Opus 70 by Benjamin Britten, Fantasía by Jorge Ritter, Mexican composer, Cuatro Piezas Breves or 4 short pieces by Frank Martin, Fandanguillo by Joaquin Turina, and 5 Bagatelles by William Walton. After the concert, I was so impressed how William Walton's 5 Bagatelles are so unique. Doesn't seem like any other music ever. Great music. So my teacher had these 2 repertoires, one with Mexican music written by great composers and pretty young composers, especially for him, and the other was the universal program, in which there was the 5 Bagatelles of William Walton, and he used to call this second repertoire the one with the masterworks. The 5 Bagatelles are dedicated to the composer Malcolm Arnold, English composer, and they were requested by the great English guitarist Julian Bream, who premiered the work, and he also made 2 superb recordings, which are the recordings of the Bagatelles. He recorded them first in 1971, I think, at the beginning of the 70s, and then he recorded them again 10 years later at the beginning of the 80s. By the time Walton wrote the 5 Bagatelles, he was already a great, renowned composer, especially of orchestral music. He had great symphonies, great concertos. I love William Walton's viola concerto. That's a great work. So I have listened through the years both of William Bream's recordings. I got them when I was a teenager. I got the 1993 release, so that denotes my age. This 1993 edition of Julian Bream's recordings have these notes by John Duarte. So he tells a little bit They are his only work for solo guitar, written when he was 69 years old. And he describes each of the Bagatelles. He says, characteristic vitality and strong rhythmic drive, mark numbers 1. And 5, the latter reflecting his long sojourn in Italy. Number 4 is a gentle love song, more English than Italian. Whilst the other two relax in the sunshine, Caribbean. Mediterranean. There is this book called Alive on the Road, which is based on interviews made to Julian Bream, and he talks about the works and everything, and he says about the Bagatelles and about Walton. He says, he wrote 5 superb Bagatelles for me back in the early 70s, but somehow he's convinced himself that I don't play them often enough. And the second recording Julian Bream did of the Bagatelles was around this time. So I'm not sure if he did that second recording to get some guilt out of him after this comment of William Walton. The Bagatelles are not easy pieces to perform. They're not for beginners. They have an important difficulty. What is for sure is that Walton liked his Bagatelles. Three years after he composed the original version for guitar, in 1974, he did another version for guitar and orchestra. Very interesting. And he also did another one for orchestra only, which was taught as a ballet.